Recently, I've been playing with University in a Let's Play on my YouTube channel, and in doing this, I've realized that I kind of want to go back and rebuild everything. Like, all of it in the University world. Partially because I don't like some of the things, but also because I want to add some extra community lots. I've already done the dorms and the library and the student union, but there's this starter home lot that I'm not using. I would get a lot more use out of a community lot instead of just an empty starter home there, so I think I'm gonna bulldoze it and try and turn it into something new. So in this middle neighborhood, we already have a bar and a library, and this is that starter home that I'm talking about. I'm so sorry to this sim, but I'm gonna kick you out. It's kind of a cool lot, at least the area around it is kind of cool, and it's also in a prime location. So since we already have a library and a bar in Britechester, I think I might try and make this into a restaurant. I realize that I might regret that because restaurants are kind of buggy, but I like the idea of going to a restaurant on a date, and because we don't need to have a huge restaurant, we could probably turn the area next to it into something else. So maybe on one side we could have the restaurant area and some outdoor dining tables, and then the other half could be like a little mini parking lot. Half my inspiration here is wanting to use this movie screen and set up like a little movie watching area in the parking lot. I don't know if I'll actually do a parking lot or if I'll just have like a patio area that's got some movie watching space, but I'm just trying to give my Sims some more things to do in this world, and I like the idea of some older restaurant. It's been around for a long time, and they host community events and movie nights. Again, this is all pretend. When I actually play with it, I'm just gonna have my Sims come here and watch the TV, but we can pretend they're hosting community nights and movie nights. This is really not a big lot. It's only 20 by 15, so we have a lot of things to fit in a very small space. But now with a plan in place, we can jump straight into the build. First of all, I must admit to you that this build is half inspired by the Krusty Krab. I actually called it the Dirty Crab on the gallery, which is kind of disgusting, but that was sort of the vibes I was going for. And this ends up being a seafood restaurant, which is also kind of disgusting. I didn't set out to build a seafood restaurant. It kind of just happened to me. Basically, I was digging around in build mode looking for different signs that I could use, and I found this really cute crab sign from Cats and Dogs. And because it was cute and red and it kind of matched the red accents that I was going for on the outside, I just took it and ran with it. So the style of this build is kind of interesting. I was actually pretty inspired style-wise by the bar that is pre-existing in this world. I recently rebuilt that bar. I don't remember if I posted it on YouTube or not. I definitely built it. I just don't know if I showed you. But in that bar, I used these really cool university windows, and I basically covered the entire first floor in them because they all look kind of attached. It looks a lot like the sort of thing you might find in real life, at least in one of these like older British style pubs. If I had it my way, this would be attached to other buildings. It wouldn't be like its own standalone thing. You just can't really do that in The Sims 4, so it's its own standalone thing here. And the whole exterior is very red and very paneled. I was just trying to use a lot of the university windows and wallpaper here. On the inside, I made it very seafoody, so I used some Cats and Dogs decorations. Cats and Dogs actually has a couple really good things for this. It has like a steering wheel, there's like a fishing net that you can hang on the wall, so I put that stuff around. And I should say, I realized that crab sign is kind of more of a menu than it is a sign. Like, it's probably not the sort of thing you'd put out in the front of a building, but this place isn't fancy. They don't have fancy signs. And also, I wouldn't be surprised if in a college town they were advertising prices pretty heavily. I feel like this place is trying to market to the students by saying like, look how cheap our food is. So actually, I don't think it's unrealistic to have a big price menu sign on the outside. Now, the inside is teeny tiny. You can already tell it is really, really small in here. It is 2 stories, but barely, because the second floor is kind of lofted. There's a staircase, a little loft hallway, and then 2 bathrooms. And then downstairs, there is a really small dining room because I wanted most of the seating to be outside, but I figured it would help to have some indoor seating just in case it was raining or something. There's also a little hallway for the employees to access, and there's a huge kitchen downstairs, but the kitchen is absolutely disgusting. That's where the dirty crab thing comes in. I put like mold and stains and a whole bunch of nasty stuff in the kitchen. Usually I've been doing a lot of gross bathrooms in my Sims builds recently, but in this one I tried to aim for gross kitchen because I wanted it to be less obvious to the customers how gross it was. So hopefully your Sims never go into the kitchen and see. But the outside is cute. It's very clean. It's very quaint from the exterior. There's like a second floor upstairs patio with some seating. And then it has that whole side area with the movie screen that I talked about wanting to to add. And I actually kind of loved it because next to the screen, there's this huge poster of the crab logo. In the back, I managed to fit a dumpster kind of fenced in off the kitchen, so it's like only employee access. I hate to say it, but when I'm doing these builds, I really do think about like woohoo spaces for my Sims. But listen, here's the thing. We don't have any double beds because we're in a dorm room. There's constantly Sims in the bathroom, so we can't really use the dorm showers. So where does that leave us? It leaves us with the dumpster in the back of the dirty crab. I'm sorry, that is actually revolting. The thought of that is so horrifying, but hey, you know what? It's gonna come in handy gameplay wise. Also, I realized in playtesting this build that the TV screen is so useful. So I put that TV screen in the back and I put a handful of like folding chairs in front of it. In my vision, I'm picturing the students would bring their own chairs and their own picnic blankets to lay out and watch the films. So I put some chairs and blankets down as if the Sims had done that. Obviously they didn't actually do that. It's all pretend. Everything in the Sims is pretend. But then I also put some picnic tables out towards the front of the lot, and those are tables your Sims can use to eat at the restaurant. And it is so nice having the TV there because my Sims can sit there, eat their food, and watch the TV at the same time. So you can like totally multitask like 3 ways because you can talk to your date, you can eat your dinner, and you can watch the TV to get your fun up. And when you're playing in university, you really need help getting your fun up. I find my Sims fun gets so low so fast because I'm constantly doing homework and studying. University is like actually kind of hard, so it takes some effort to fix their needs, and this is a good lot for that. I had so much fun decorating this outside area, especially by the TV screen. There are so many cute little folding chairs in this game that I kind of forgot about. There's some from Outdoor Retreat, we got some from University that are kind of university colors. We got that little one from the campers kit that's got like Peppa Pig on it. And then I used some rugs pretending they were picnic blankets out there. I thought about putting actual blankets or like some little pillows or towels or something, but the lot wasn't really big enough and it looked kind of cluttered, so I ended up just doing the chairs. There are 3 picnic tables outside and they all have like little baskets of ketchup and mustard in them. I always forget that you can use picnic tables as dining tables with Dine Out, but I feel like that totally fits the vibes of this restaurant. Outside, I tried to do a couple other little mini decor things, like I put some signs by the door. I also tried to make a fake bike rack, so we don't really have bike racks in The Sims 4. We have these debug fences from high school years though that almost look like a bike rack, so I put that in the front and then put a couple bikes next to it. I always kind of forget about bikes in this game, but they're actually super useful, especially with University, for your Sims to get around. Otherwise, they're almost guaranteed to be late to class, and also riding the bike gets their fun up so fast, so it's a really helpful tip. I'm not joking, you could press ride around on the bike and have them ride around for like 2 seconds and their fun bar is almost instantly full. I think it's one of the best ways to get your fun up in the whole game. It might actually be faster than Woohoo, to be honest, which is kind of impressive. But like I said, if you need it, there's a dumpster out back. Now, I did play test this, like I mentioned, and when I came here, it's not like a low quality restaurant. We're kind of pretending that it is, but in game, it's not, right? Well, I came here, I was sitting outside. First thing that happens is my waiter just dumps food all over the floor. That can happen kind of randomly in The Sims 4. It's got like a random chance of happening, but it was hilarious to me how I was pretending it was like kind of a bad restaurant, and then all of a sudden the food is just spilled all over the floor. We're moving inside now though, and like I said, the inside isn't obviously gross. It's a little dirty, it's a little bit stinky, but it's not supposed to be like blatantly clear to you. I've been in this real phase recently where I keep making a lot of nasty community lots with like really dirty, gross bathrooms, and in this one, the bathrooms aren't gross. They're normal. Reasonably gross for a college student hangout. There's like a little bit of staining on the walls, but it's not nasty. The bathrooms have been cleaned. The kitchen though, the kitchen is the problem. The kitchen is disgusting. There's stains, there's cracks, there's dirt, there's like debris. I put some rat traps in there. I mean, it is absolutely revolting in the kitchen. Now in the main dining space, I only put a couple of tables. Like I said, I didn't really picture this being like a main hangout for your Sims. I don't really want your Sims to be eating in here that much. I prefer for them to eat outside. I put kind of like some bar seating underneath the windows, which technically does not work in game. Like your Sims won't eat there at the restaurant, but in real life, I could see that being there. And then there's just a couple bar height tables for only like 2 people on the inside of the room. I feel like in real life, this would be a way more casual restaurant. Like you'd probably show up and order at the window and then buy it and sit down at your own table, but you can't do that in The Sims. It has to be like served to you, and and you have a real waiter and stuff. So there is like the host station outside, but I wish that I didn't have to do that. I wish I could make like a fast food type of restaurant, because that's more of what I was picturing this being. We're moving into the kitchen now though, so brace yourselves because it's kind of gross. I did have like some back and forth on what I wanted it to be like in here, because I was trying to decide if I wanted to use wooden counters or not, which probably isn't that big of a deal. I just know that is so disgusting and probably unsanitary for a restaurant like this, so that's why I wanted to use them. But I settled on the metal counters because the metal counters match the dine out kitchen sets a little bit better. And actually there's 2 chef stations in here. There's one through the window and one in the corner. I also put a fridge and like a sink and a dishwasher. Technically you don't need any of those things in a restaurant in The Sims 4. They don't use them. All you need is the chef station and then it functions just fine. But I like to add those extra things kind of to play pretend a little bit. Thinking about it now, the last restaurant I built in this game was gross. So now I'm feeling a little embarrassed. But the last restaurant was worse. I feel like this one's not as gross. It's a little bit gross, but this is less gross. And I think that like the whole vibes of this one are a little bit more casual than my last restaurant. The last one I built was literally inspired by Peppa Pig. Actually, I don't know what's gotten into me. This being inspired by the Krusty Krab, that by Peppa Pig. I've got like a thing for cartoons, I guess, recently. Cartoons and gross kitchens. What do you think that says about me? It's not my fault. The game just has so many nice gross things. We've got like all these wall stains and floor cracks. I just have to use them. I have to. It's too good. I always build these sort of things live on my Twitch streams as well. And I think that my Twitch stream kind of feeds into it. Like I wouldn't make it as bad if I was on my own, but when you're building it live, like with people and they're all like, make it worse, make it worse. It makes me want to go all out. I know that's bad. I'm sorry. I'm like feeding into peer pressure. I'm just being honest though. It's their fault, not mine. Speaking of Twitch streams, if you want to come by and watch my Twitch channel, I will link it down below for you. I do a lot of Sims over there. A lot of the speed builds that I post on YouTube, I built first on Twitch. Not all of my YouTube builds are, but the ones that are sped up like this, I usually build first on my Twitch stream. Anyway, I'm doing the bathrooms now, and the bathrooms are one of the only things that are upstairs. Like I said, it kind of has that lofted space to get up to the top of the stairs. In that hallway, I put a dartboard, so if you want to, you can play with that. There's obviously a door to the patio, so you can sit upstairs on the balcony. And then there's 2 bathrooms up here. They're actually pretty decent bathrooms. They kind of have that red color scheme going on. And weirdly, I put a fish on the wall in each one. I don't know, I was really embracing the fish thing in this lot. There's so many more fish related decor items than I realized. Like there's all that stuff from cats and dogs. There's all kinds of literal fish that you can put on the wall that you catch. There's even like a fish painting from Dine Out. Like there's so many more fish things. Also, you'll be pleased to know, because I don't eat meat or anything in real life. Oftentimes in The Sims, I find myself ensuring that all of my community lots actually have options that I could eat. So don't worry, the menu is pretty much all fish, but they also have a veggie burger, and I think they have a faux meat and chips as well, like a fake fish and chips. I think in real life, this restaurant would almost 100% without a doubt not have anything non-meat on the menu. I was kind of trying to make a fish and chips shop, like that was kind of the main goal. But we're talking like burgers and fries, fried fish, like that's kind of the vibes that I was going for in here. So yeah, in real life, it's all meat, all fish. They would probably definitely not have a veggie burger, but luckily for us, it's The Sims and I can do whatever I want. So I made sure I had some. And then I really struggled with the wallpaper. I always do wallpaper last in my builds. You've probably caught on to this. It's oftentimes because I just don't have the wallpapers that I want in the game. I have these visions in my head of what I want it to look like, and those things just don't exist in The Sims 4. So I kind of put it off as long as I can because I like feel sad about it. But in here, I used a lot of brick and a lot of wood accents, which I think kind of makes sense. A lot of the things I used outside, I also used inside. And then this last little room is kind of like that little tiny hallway from the dining space into the kitchen. And this is like an employee area. It's kind of like a break room. So I put some little chairs in there. We've got like the waiter stand. And there's also a closet in there. And I think that you can maybe imagine why I did that. Look, this is making me start to look bad, okay? But I, again, just wanted to have another woohoo spot for my Sims. So this lot has the closet and the dumpster. I'd probably avoid the dumpster if you could, but actually the dumpster woohoo is kind of funny in this game. But anyway, that, my friends, is the finished build complete. So remember, we're on that little tiny 20 by 15 starter home lot in Britechester. On the gallery, the lot is called the dirty crab, which again is disgusting. It also uses a lot of packs. I don't know how I managed that, honestly. I can't even explain myself. I'm sorry. I don't know what I was thinking. It's so small. Like, how do I even manage that? This is what it looks like from the exterior. My favorite section is this side with the outdoor seating. I literally built this entire thing just because I was kind of inspired by this TV projector from the kit. Something I have noticed is that this does break in the rain, but I haven't seen it break on the community lot in the rain. It will break in your backyard, but I haven't had any issues here on the community lot. And if it does break, just replace it. It's fine. We've got a couple little seats here for your Sims to sit and watch it, and then obviously you can sit in these picnic tables too and eat dinner. Around the front, we have a trash can and some trees. This is that bike rack that I mentioned. Your Sims will come right here to check in and get a table. I put a menu out in front of it. And then around the back, I actually put this phone booth from Cottage Living. You can't use it. It doesn't actually work. It's just fake decor, but I liked how it looked there. And then we also have the little dumpster I was talking about. Inside the building, when you first walk in, it's a very small dining room. I know I keep saying that, but we have some seats in front of the windows. I found a lot of cute decor for this. Like, we have the wheel, these like pub paintings. We've got the crab menu and some flags. I am obsessed with this item, this like fishing net. There's also some barrels with bottles in them, and literally only 2 actual functional tables inside, but that's all you need. Through this door, we have that little employee break room. I put some scratches on the floor, and it's also got all the functional things like this item, the waiter station. Again, so much fish decor in this game. We have so much fish decor. And then through that door, we have the kitchen. Ignore the little mouse traps, okay? There is, in fact, a mouse that lives here, but this is his home. He deserves to stay. There's like spilled food by the trash can and a mouse trap by the trash can. One thing that really bothered me is I put the sink here and the dishwasher completely across from it, which is so annoying. Like, in real life, that would be so annoying. There just wasn't a closer space that I could put it. There wasn't enough room for another counter, so yeah, the dishwasher is quite far away, sorry. And then upstairs, we have, like I said, that little tiny hallway. I put some dartboards. Oh my god, I didn't paint this wall. Ignore that. Ignore that. You didn't see that? Okay, it's painted. We have a dartboard. There's some more fish decor, 2 bathrooms. They're not really anything fancy. It just has the necessities. And then we have that door to the outside patio. And that is the whole thing. It's really, really small. I'd like to shout out this crab. Oh, the happiest crab in the world. Is that what it's called? Aw, no better way to advertise your seafood paradise than a crab with a smile. Okay. Let me show you the menu quickly too, because I actually did go in and give all of the staff different outfits. We have these kind of like cute checkerboard outfits for the hosts. The waiters have these shirts with little buttons on them, and then the chefs wear some really dirty, nasty clothes. And then the menu is quite small. It's really not a very long, detailed menu. I like to make small, very focused menus in my Sims restaurants. For drinks, we have some sodas. They've got coffee and stuff. The appetizers have chips, French fries, peas, and a salad. Like I said, inspired by a fish and chips shop, so I got both kinds of chips. We've got popcorn shrimp, a veggie burger, we got some fish sandwiches, fish pie, fish and chips, faux fish and chips, and also bangers and mash. And then for desserts, they've got a sugar cookie, a pre-mixed brownie, and a couple kinds of ice cream. Nothing fancy. Making custom menus for restaurants is one of my all-time favorite things to do in The Sims. It's so cool how much detail you can put into it. But on that note, the build is complete. Like I said, it's called The Dirty Crab on the gallery if you want to download it. And if you want to watch my university Let's Play, I've actually brought my Sims here to this lot. They didn't have the best experience, but they didn't have a bad experience either. So I can link my Let's Play here on the end card for you. I've only posted a handful of episodes, so if you want to go back and watch it, now's a good time to start because we're not too far into it. But on that note, I'm going to end this video right here. So thank you for watching, and I'll catch you all tomorrow, okay? Bye, everybody. Oh, I just noticed my shirt kind of matches the crab. It's like I dressed up for the occasion on purpose.